By the way, what good does a promise of a Senate vote even do for you, Democrats? You don't control the Senate. Do you even know how this works?
At the start of the show, Stewart called out the Democrats for stepping away from the government shutdown fight, saying their reasons for doing so felt flimsy and let him down.
Tonight's show will be brought to you by I Can't F***ing Believe It!
Honestly, I never expected comments like that from someone as loyal to the Democratic side as Stewart, but he spoke up without holding back, and now we've reached this moment. So what reasons did he offer? Let's begin and find out.
And what, you ask, is it? Well, it is the Democrats. You remember the Democrats. They shut down the government last month.
The Democrats confidently announced that they would stand firm all the way through. They told their supporters they wouldn't back down when Republicans pushed back. Reports say Schumer even snapped not a chance. These bold promises fired up their fans, painting the group as strong and unshakable. But when the moment of truth arrived, that tough stance slipped away. All those big declarations and dramatic promises turned out to be more show than substance.
Charles Schumer's 3 words were no match for these 5 other words.
Democrats cave on the shutdown.
Excuse me? Cave on the shutdown? Hello?
Stewart couldn't believe the Democrats would step away from their own supporters so suddenly, especially after bragging just days earlier about staying strong. He looked truly amazed, almost as if he were watching a trick where someone's confidence disappeared right in front of him. I have to admit, though, it didn't surprise me. This is the same group that often leans on grand, feel-good messages. When the spotlight is on, there's plenty of loud moral bragging, but when the pressure rises, the bold talk slips into quiet agreement. It's the familiar puzzle of politics. Strong values that last only until real power is on the line.
This forceful, young, authentic Democratic Party that hangs out down by the river and curses in what appears to be a cerulean blue blazer.
Stewart poked fun at Schumer's bold promise to fight until the very end. The difference between his words and his actions was almost silly. For a moment, Schumer seemed tough and unshakable. The next moment, he was raising a white flag. Stewart pointed out that even with all their fiery speeches and proud displays, the Democratic senators didn't seem as strong as they claimed. They backed down quickly, showing once again that talking about bravery in politics is much easier than actually showing it.
Even Democratic senators voted with their Republican counterparts to end the shutdown and reopen the government. And did they get their extended health care subsidy?
The health care subsidies, supposedly the big reason for the shutdown, never actually came their way. Instead, the Democrats accepted a vague note saying the topic might be talked about later. That was it. No schedule, no real commitment, just polite phrases meant to save face. Yet that small gesture was all it took for their stance to crumble. For a group that claimed to be fighting for real change and strong beliefs, agreeing to a weak promise felt less like a clever plan and more like a quiet surrender.
I believe it! You had the wind at your back. Election victories all over the country. The new Sydney Sweeney movie, box office bupkis.
Stewart noted that the Democrats had scored several big political wins earlier in the year, showing that many people seemed to be behind them. With that kind of support, the party should have felt confident enough to stick to its plans and push back against Republican pressure. But, as Stewart joked, that wasn't what happened. Many voters who expected the Democrats to stay strong were let down when the party backed away at the very first sign of trouble instead of using their recent successes to carry them forward. Stewart found it puzzling, a group with so much strength and popularity giving in right when it counted the most.
Democrats, you sold out the entire shutdown not to get what you wanted, but for a promise to not get what you wanted later. Where in the art of war?
Stewart thought the whole situation was almost funny, and it wasn't hard to see why. He wondered how the Democrats could walk away from such a strong position and get almost nothing in return. As the shutdown approached, they insisted they would push hard for their goals, but after only a short time, they backed off without achieving anything meaningful. No results to match their bold words, no healthcare subsidies, no real gains at all. Stewart couldn't help noticing how strange the whole thing looked. He and the audience were stunned to watch a party with energy, public support, and plenty of influence let it all slip through their fingers so quickly.
I got it. Sun Tzu said, never press your advantage. It's unseemly.
The Democrats' choices feel so puzzling that it's hard not to wonder what was going through their minds. With so much support and influence, giving up so quickly seems almost unreal. One outspoken critic said the group now seems more focused on appearances than on holding their ground. If they don't start showing real courage and a bit more determination, they could face serious hurdles in the future. Voters remember both the people who stand strong and the ones who step back under pressure. And right now, the Democrats are sending all the wrong messages.
By the way, what good does a promise of a Senate vote even do for you, Democrats? You don't control the Senate. Do you even know how this works?
Considering they don't even fully control the Senate, this is a major embarrassment for the Democrats. The vote on the Affordable Care Act could move forward without any advantage for them. Once again, the Republicans might outmaneuver and outsmart them. Even more striking was how quickly the Democrats gave in despite being in a position of power. It suggests that last year's election losses seriously shook their confidence and morale. Such fragility is both troubling and confusing for a party that claims to fight for the people and push for progress.
Let's just say, for schnicks, that you managed to win a vote in the Senate, which you haven't done all year. Do you know what happens then? Give me, hold on 1 second. Give me the thing. I want to show you.
I'm just a bill.
Stewart couldn't resist poking fun at his own side for what he saw as a striking and almost absurd loss. A party that promised to stand by its values and defend its supporters looked foolish for backing down so quickly. While Stewart's jokes were entertaining, the political reality behind them is serious. With the Democrats weakened and demoralized, the Republicans, still holding plenty of power, stand to gain. Their agenda can move forward more easily, while the Democrats scramble to rebuild their credibility and recover from this setback.
Let's just say, you pass a bill out of the Senate that you don't control as Democrats. Guess what happens then?
Now I go to the House of Representatives and they vote out.
Stewart also pointed out a key detail that the Democrats seemed to overlook. Even if they had held the shutdown or won certain concessions, the law would eventually reach the House of Representatives, a chamber they don't control. This means the Democrats could still face defeat in the next round, no matter how loud their promises or how united they appeared. Stewart's view underscores just how fragile their position really is. Their influence is limited, and their ability to pass important laws remains seriously at risk without control of both chambers.
In your 8-senator fantasy land, and you do, let's say you somehow convince old Cowlick McBabyface to hold that House of Representatives vote, and you win that one as well.
The bill would ultimately need approval from both the House and the Senate before reaching the president's desk. Just that fact shows how slim the Democrats' chances are of passing the Affordable Care Act. Their position is weaker than before, and their leverage is minimal. This raises a big question. What were they thinking when they accepted the Republicans' offer? It seems both puzzling and strategically unwise to give in so quickly with almost nothing to show for it. Stewart's critique highlights this very mistake, drawing attention to where they went wrong.
Pass the Senate, you get it past the House, and then the President of the United States. Right? You remember him? This guy?
Obamacare is a disaster.
Yeah, that f***ing guy. The Obamacare is a disaster guy.
It's both accurate and entertaining. Trump would never ever have signed the law, not after years of calling Obamacare a total failure. From the start, the Democrats were facing an uphill battle, but let's pause for a moment. Maybe they ran every possible scenario and realized the outcome would have been the same no matter what path they took. In the end, they would have had to give in. Perhaps they decided that surrendering early was better than struggling and failing later. What do you think? Were they showing weakness or were they being practical? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Democrats, you gave up the only leverage you had without getting commitments from Trump or Mike Johnson. I cannot believe.
This is the political reality, and Stewart would be wise to take note. The Republicans are showing exactly how they wield their power. They've proven they can apply pressure, outmaneuver, and, if they choose, overpower Democratic politicians. This isn't just about a single law or a temporary shutdown. It's about strategy and control. By using every advantage at their disposal, the GOP shows they still know how to play the long game. It's a sobering lesson for the Democrats. When someone knows how to win, good intentions and moral arguments alone won't carry the day.
In the party understands that offering a vote in the Senate without a commitment that it would pass or that the House would even take it up is an empty offer.
Of course, the so-called promise to revisit the Affordable Care Act later was mostly symbolic, and some sharp Democrats can still see through the political smoke and mirrors. The real question is whether the party's leaders notice. Unfortunately, it seems they do not. The top officials appear to value grandstanding, sound bites, and appearances more than real strategy and substance. They've chosen showmanship over reality, letting image outweigh honesty instead of taking a bold and deliberate approach. And that's exactly why they so often lose major battles.
I gets it. Tim Kaine. You don't see him as one of the 8 voting yes.
Virginia Senator Tim Kaine was a yes.
I can't believe.
It's both ironic and disappointing. Even the Democrats who seemed most committed to their principles ended up voting against the shutdown. In other words, they couldn't follow through on the values they claimed to hold. When the chance came to show real dedication, they gave in like everyone else. In today's political world, courage seems to be a rare quality. As sad as it is, Stewart's laughter highlights a deeper truth. The Democrats talk loudly about their principles, but when it comes to accountability, they often disappear.
Now that's somebody who's not going to roll over. That is somebody who has the moral clarity, and she voted yes, didn't she?
Jane Shaheen decided to vote yes.
Right now, the Democratic Party seems to lack both a clear leader and a unifying message. On nearly every front, politically, strategically, and even morally, they are losing ground. Their recent victories, celebrated with fanfare, are far less meaningful than they appear. Many came from reliable blue strongholds like New York, areas that were already safe bets. Outside these familiar zones, the party's influence is shrinking rapidly. This is where the real danger lies. Without strong leadership and a clear agenda, the Democrats risk becoming a fractured group, shouting slogans while the Republicans quietly seize control. Stewart's harsh critique of his own party was more than just humor. It was a warning. Their abrupt retreat from the government shutdown exposed serious flaws in strategy, conviction, and leadership. All the bold talk about standing firm and defending their values evaporated at the first sign of opposition. Meanwhile, the Republicans are acting decisively, using their advantages to outmaneuver and pressure their opponents at every turn. They are showing that strategy, consistency, and long-term planning matter far more than moral speeches or grandstanding. For the Democrats, the stakes are clear. If they continue to confuse theatrics for action, if they rely on appearances rather than real political strength, they will keep losing both battles and credibility. Their opportunities outside their comfort zones will slip away, leaving them trapped in a cycle of empty promises and failed strategy. Stewart's laughter may be entertaining, but it also underscores a sobering reality. The party's values, their professed courage, and their supposed fearlessness cannot replace actual leadership and real results. This is the political moment that demands bravery, focus, and vision, or the Democrats risk being permanently outplayed.